What's going on? It's your boy Fly Guy J, and I'm back with another video. Now this video series I'm going to be calling Wavy Wednesdays. That's right. Every Wednesday I'm going to be reviewing a new WAVES plugin and showing you guys how you can use that in your music production workflow or your vocal recording and mixing workflow. I'm going to start off the Wavy Wednesdays series by showing you guys different WAVES plugins you can use to mix your 808s. Now today I'm going to be reviewing WAVES PuigTec EQP-1A Plugin, which is part of the JJP collection. We'll take a look at how you can use this in your mixing process to add some low-end boost to your beats. We'll also take a look at the infamous boost and cut trick that you can use to not only boost the low end, but scoop out some of the mud as well. Now in order to demonstrate how to use this plugin, I'll be pulling up a Pro Tools session for a song I produced called Designer, featuring my guy Flamo. Now this song was created for my YouTube series and upcoming mixtape called On The Fly. We actually had a videographer come through and record everything from me making the beat from scratch to Flamo writing and recording his lyrics in the vocal booth. It's a dope song, came out fire. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to check that out, and feel free to go ahead and add it to your playlist. If you guys want to check out that video, I'll leave a link to episode 1 up here. And I can't wait for this coronavirus to hurry up and get on out the way so I can invite another artist over and get started on episode 2 for you guys. Alright, and last but not least, before I get into this review, I want to give a shout out to 3 commenters from that video that I just talked about. Shout out to Ruben H, my bro A Barley 20, and Tyrell Gale for stopping by the channel, dropping a comment, and showing some love. If you're already subscribed to the channel, welcome back. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can get notifications of future videos. Alright, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so I've got the Pro Tools session pulled up, and I'll play the hook section of the song so you guys can get a feel for the track, and then we'll dive into how I use the EQ on the 808 section. Flamo, just another day in the life of a fly.
She a bad one, she love designers. I'm a real one by her kindness. She want that real love, the internet. She said that new drip keep her wet. She my late night flex. 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 She gon' spin a bag on some designer. Chanel want that designer. I just dropped a bag on some designer. She know my body, that designer.
Yeah. Alright, so I've zoomed in on the 808 track here, and I've looped the hook section. So real quick, just to go over the chain that I used on the 808, I did a lot of processing. I have a trim plugin that I used for gain staging. I used the NLS channel to give it some analog character, and also used the drive knob to give it some extra oomph. I'm using an F6 just to filter out some of the low end rumble and filter out some of the high end that I don't need in the 808. And then here's the JJP PuigTec EQP-1A plugin, which I'm using to add some low end boost. I'll be using this meter gauge just to show you guys the gain leveling. And then I added some distortion with the Decapitator plugin, some more harmonic distortion using the Max Bass plugin, a C6 to sidechain the kick with the 808, and then a limiter just to bring in a little more volume. Now to the left of the 808 track, I have my vocal bus, which I'm also throwing a EQ on. And then I also have it on this print channel, which I'm basically using as my sub mix before it hits the master. And here I'm just boosting the low end of the entire mix just to smidge it. Now just a quick overview for those of you who may be new to this plugin. The PuigTec EQP-1A is basically a 3-band EQ, which is mostly used for broadband EQ purposes. This makes it great to use on sub mixes or even your master channel. You absolutely can use it on individual tracks like I've done here on the 808 track, so that it's only affecting my 808 and not the rest of the mix. Now we basically can break this plugin down into 3 sections. There's a low shelf section, which consists of this boost knob here, this attenuation knob here, and this low frequency knob here, which has 4 frequency bands you can hone in on: 20 hertz, 30 hertz, 60 hertz, and 100 hertz. The second section would be your high boost section, which consists of this boost knob, this bandwidth knob where you can select the Q, whether you want to narrow or wide, and this high frequency knob where you can select a specific frequency. Lastly, we have the third section, which is the high shelf section, which consists of this attenuation knob selector and this attenuation amount knob. You also have a knob down here for introducing some of that analog noise that you would have gotten if you're using the actual hardware. I usually don't like introducing noise into the individual channels. If I were going to introduce some of that analog noise, I would do it on a plugin on my mix bus or on my master channel. So I have this set to off. Now, what makes this plugin so unique is it allows you to not only boost the low end, but you can also cut it at a similar frequency at the same time. And that allows you to make a very unique EQ curve where you're boosting the low end frequencies toward the fundamental and then also scooping out a section where a lot of that mud from the low end might exist. Now that can also make room for your bass, kick, or other instruments to shine through by removing some of that mud from the 808 to make room for those other sounds. All right, in order for you to be able to hear the subtle differences that are going on by using this plugin, you're going to need to have some really good monitors that you're playing back on, or some high quality headphones that can process these low sub frequencies. If you're just listening back through your phone or your computer, you're not going to be able to hear the difference. So let's mute the vocals, and then I'll play the instrumental by itself, and I'll bypass the plugin on and off so you guys can hear the difference. This is with the EQ engaged, and I'll disengage it now. Bypass. Back on. Off. So you can hear there's a subtle change. I've only boosted this 2 and cut it 2, but you can hear the low end get fatter, but also cleaner. By boosting and cutting at the same time, that creates a very unique EQ curve, which allows you to boost near the fundamental and then scoop out some of the mud at the same time. So you end up getting a fatter, cleaner, tighter 808 sound. So let's exaggerate this. I'll do a full reset of the plugin, and we'll start tweaking. So I'm going to change this to 60 Hertz because that's around the frequency where our 808 fundamental is. I'm going to turn this noise off, and we'll start boosting the taste. Bypass. Now that sounds way better, way beefier, but the thing you have to keep in mind when you're mixing is you always want to gain match so that the before and after is at the same volume. A lot of times what will happen is when you're tweaking these plugins, things get louder, and when they get louder, they automatically sound better to your ear, and it kind of plays a trick on you because you don't really know if the changes you're making is really having the impact that you're hearing. So in order to level match that, I have this PAZ meter. We'll pull that up, and we'll check the metering before the plugin. So let's bypass this, clear these numbers out. We'll hit play, and we'll keep our eye on these numbers. So we're at about negative 11.7 dB. So now let's bypass this and see where we're at. So we're way louder, and that's gonna naturally sound better. So let's take this gain knob and reduce the gain until we match the volume. A little lower. All right, so that's pretty close. Now let's take a listen to before and after. So this is before. Then we'll do after. So you can hear a slight boost in the low end, but we haven't done any attenuation. It sounds a little bit muddy. Let's try and increase this attenuation knob and clean that low end up a little bit. So that's how you can use the WAVES PuigTec EQP-1A plugin to not only boost your low end, but to clean out some of that mud and get a nice hard hitting, clean sounding 808 in your beats. If you enjoyed the plugin or if you learned something new, make sure you give me a thumbs up, drop a comment, and let me know if you're going to be adding this technique to your workflow. For those of you interested in buying the plugin, I'll leave a direct link that you can go ahead and click and take you right to the WAVES store. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button. Help me get to my first 1,000 subscribers and help the channel grow. Drop a comment and let me know what you think of the beat. And make sure you check out episode 1 of On the Fly Studio Sessions.